Today's show is sponsored by Gamefly.com. 30-day free trial. Go to Gameflyoffer.com/HWT. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another brand spanking new edition of Hey We're Talking with me, Scotty D, and Bob.
I wish I had something like after my name. You know, you got Scotty D, sounds so good together, and
Bobby
then you go,
P?
you go right from Scotty D to Bob. It's just flat. It's just.
What do you
blah.
want your nickname to be?
Bob? I don't really want a
Okay.
nickname, but
Bobby? You want to be Bobby B?
No,
Bobby
the
P?
there's only one person in the world that's allowed to call me that.
What about, can we call you Robbie?
No, that's horrible. Nobody's ever called me Robbie. Somebody did call me Rob before, and I just kind of gave him the death stare, like, dude, why are you calling me that? Who are you?
Yeah, who do you think you are?
My mom's well, actually, there's technically two people in the world that can call me Bobby. One's an old friend that I don't really talk to anymore, but we stay connected. The other one's my mom.
Okay.
That's it. Nobody else.
Yeah, nobody calls me Scotty except for my mom. We already talked about this before, though.
Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's okay now. I don't mind it. With the Scotty D thing just was an accident.
No, it sounds good. I mean, it's a good thing, though.
I didn't
For the
plan
radio.
it. Yeah, I didn't plan it. I was just like, I'm Scotty D. It's that
Yeah.
improv. It's all those classes at Second City. Woo. Made
There's a
me
lot of
improv
people
it.
that went through there.
Is there? I'm sure
Yeah.
there is. Yeah, there's tons of people. Because everybody wants to be funny.
Yeah,
Or
a lot.
thinks they're funny.
I've heard a lot of people refer to it, you know, over time that they've been through there. So
Yeah.
obviously it was a staple there in the Big D. So
Yeah, Chicago is the one that's the most famous, and then Toronto is the second kind of biggest one out of the. I mean, Chicago's the biggest one, obviously. That's where all the really like amazing people came out of the Chicago Second City.
I didn't know that Toronto had one.
They do, yeah.
Huh.
They had
I just never imagined Canadians laughing very much. I don't know why.
They do. No, listen. You remember? Have you ever seen the show SCTV?
Nope.
It's Second City TV. That was like John Candy, Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, Carolyn. What's her name?
Fisher.
No. I can't remember her name. It's dang it. Anyway, Cheryl's gonna. By the way, every time we can't remember a name, Cheryl listens to these while she's working. Sometimes I think, or I don't know. I shouldn't probably say that. I don't want her to get in trouble at work. Like anyone's listening at her work, but. Anyway, she will answer immediately. Whatever we're not remembering, she'll be like, her name is this, and then we'll say who the person's name is as she's typing it.
So here's the challenge, and this goes to all our listeners because they're awesome about that too. A lot of people have commented and said all kinds of stuff like, oh, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
The thing is, when you're on the spot like this, and you know you're being recorded, and you know you have to kind of keep the flow going.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is hard to go back into that
Yeah.
little storage compartment in your head and find that gem. But sometimes we all have those gems we throw out there. But sometimes it's difficult when it comes to names or movies or different things.
Well, part of the thing is for me, I've never been a good name rememberer. Like is
that even a word?
Rememberer? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
good at remembering names. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
When I worked at this church in Michigan, Cheryl would, and it was a huge church, and so I was like, it was like an internship basically. But when I was there's just tons of people, and because I was interning and I was part of this, working with this other guy, there was tons of people who knew me,
Right.
but I didn't know them. Or I met them And they would be like, "Hey, Scott, what's going on?" And Cheryl would be right there, and I'd be like, "Who's that again?" And she'd go, "That's Steve." And I was like, "Hey, Steve, how's it going, man?" So she would always, I mean, I know faces. That's the thing that's weird. I have this unique ability to basically, if I've seen your face, I will never forget your face.
That's the same way I am. If I've seen somebody before, I will recognize them.
Yeah.
But I won't know their name in most cases.
There was this thing that would happen to me all the time. So, like, when I worked at this Christian radio station, we would go to concerts and stuff sometimes, and we would do things at the concerts as a radio station. And there's just, like, a certain group of people that show up to these Christian concerts, you know? And so you'd be out in the world, and you'd see this person, you go, I know that person. But it's just because you saw them, like, in a crowd of people, and they stood out to you.
Right.
So that would happen to me all the time. And then the other thing that happens with Cheryl and I is she'll say, if we're watching something on TV or we're watching a movie or something, she'll say, "Isn't that so-and-so?" And I go, "No." She's like, "Yes, it is. That looks exactly like so-and-so." I'm like, "That is not that person. Trust me, it's not his face. I know they look similar, but it's not them." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm 100% sure." And then we look it up, you know, on IMDb or Google. And of course, I'm always right. I don't know the person's name, but I know that's not the person that she thinks it is.
She's talking. Well, I do that a lot in the store too, where I recognize somebody and I don't remember their name.
Yeah.
So I haul it down the next aisle to avoid them.
Haven't you ever just used the "Hey guy, how's it going, guy? Oh yeah, man."
Well, a lot of times I'll just be like, "Hey, what's up, man? How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I don't remember your name, but
right."
But I try to avoid people in the store because it's always that awkward conversation, like, "Oh, hey,
yeah,
how's work?
Oh, what are you doing? Work. I'm shopping."
Right.
How about you?
Oh, yeah. It's one of those awkward conversations that I always try to avoid, and my wife and I have just hauled down an aisle and over two, skipped everything that we needed to get just to avoid that person.
Cheryl does that too. That's so funny. She's like, "I saw so-and-so at the grocery store." "Did you say hi?" "No, I got out of there as quick as I could."
Right.
I'm like, why? She's like, "I got stuff to do. I don't want to talk in the grocery store."
Right. Well, it's really just because it's so awkward. It's that, "Oh, hey. Hi. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's weird for me. And maybe that's part of my social anxiety issues.
So out of the two of you, both of you don't like that? Usually there's one person that likes to do the stop and chat with people.
Well, I mean, I stop and chat with people that I like and really know.
Yeah.
But if it's just an acquaintance, I'm gone.
Like, I'm not going to.
Because my wife always yells at me at talking to people and all this stuff. And it's like, well, we're in church. We're supposed to talk to people. But it's like, we just got to go, you know. Not in a bad way, just like, you know, if we got something planned right after, it's like, don't stick around and talk for a half hour. But it's like, if we're comfortable, it's all good. But sometimes it's like, all right, I got to run. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. It is hard when you get into a conversation with somebody that just doesn't want to let you go.
I was actually in one of those conversations today, just talking with a guy I used to manage at work, and we're just talking, you know, and it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's not, you know, nice to talk to you," and I walk away or go to step away, and he just follows,
and he's like, "Hey, I was going to tell you about this too,and you're like, "Oh,
right,"
my
and
gosh.
He's just on and on, and I eventually get to the point where I'm staring at him but not listening, just like
you're saying all this stuff, and there's people from your work that listen to the show.
That's okay.
Jenny's going to tell him.
Yeah, nobody knows who I'm talking about though. So, and anyone who's ever talked to this guy is going to be like, "Oh yeah, well you kind of break away somehow."
What can you tell us about Jenny, since I'm talking about her?
Jenny is.
She's got 2 kids because I saw on Instagram. I'm stalking you on Instagram, Jenny.
Yes, she is super, super short.
Is it 2 kids or 3? I think she had 3 actually.
3.
In the picture.
She's got 3.
Yeah.
The picture you saw on Instagram was probably 2. So she's super short.
Yeah.
She's a ball of energy.
Oh boy.
She's hilarious, and she works her butt off. I mean, that's truthfully,
good. Those are all good qualities.
She's not. She's a female, but she's not like one of those.
Oh man,
you know,
you're treading. Be careful.
No,
what you say
I'm
next.
not at all. She'll agree. She's not one of those you know,
She
I
likes
have to be all
beer.
fancy. Yeah, I mean, she's not one of those girls that are like, oh, I've got to be all fancy and this and that. She's just like, hey, man, this is me.
Yeah.
You know, she's cool. So
Yeah.
that's Jenny. That's one of our listeners. Sorry.
So the reason
for
that
the
I'm
rest of
bringing
you.
up Jenny too is because she won our first contest for one of our T-shirt giveaways.
Yep.
She did the Instagram one.
Yes, she did, and she told me her shirt size, and I forgot.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
So I'll text her. Maybe I'll text her right here on the show. No, I won't.
No, but she's been pimping us out to people, so that's good.
Yeah,
She was telling everybody.
awesome.
One guy actually said, "Man, I sure hope you get that shirt for all these things you're putting up." Like almost like he didn't like the fact that he was included. I was like,
Oh well,
"Geez,
you know what?
guy."
She won the shirt fair and square.
But she
and,
told the guy, "Listen to the show. They like good beer." That's what she said to him.
Yeah, that's true too.
It is. All right. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. And we've been, just talking about fun stuff. We're going to get a little serious. We try not to get too crazy here, but we're going to talk about a little bit of what's going on in the world today. Not just today, but just recently. The things that are going on. So it won't be a total downer, but we do want to talk about it. We're not going to pretend like these things aren't happening. And that's what we're going to do next. We'll talk to. We'll be right back after this. I don't know what I was going to say right there.
We'll talk to Corey. It sounded like
the Second City
I don't
training
even know.
went out the window there. All right, we'll be right back. Hey everybody, it's Scott from Hey We're Talking. You've heard us talk about GameFly.com before. The basics are this: they've got over 8,000 titles for every gaming platform you can think of, and they're giving you a 30-day free trial. That's right, 30-day free trial for you, the listeners of Hey We're Talking. You want to play video games? You want to be a champ at video games? Go to GameFlyOffer.com/HWT. That's GameFlyOffer.com/HWT for your 30-day free trial. And we are back. And like I said before the break, we wanted to talk a little bit about, listen, there's some serious stuff going on in America. Now, we know we have people that listen all over the world. But we're going to talk a little bit specifically just about some stuff that's going on here. If I'm sure a lot of people know about this already, and especially, we happen to be actually on two country radio stations. By the way, we're on a new station, Texas 46 Radio. Bruce is got us on his show. I think it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 Central. And then we're also on Coyote Country Radio on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday at, I think, 8:30 Central there too, isn't it?
Yep, 8:30. 8:30 seems to be a good time for us.
Apparently people like the 8:30 time slot for Hey We're Talking. So, this all kind of intersects for us too, because I don't know if Bob knew this, but I'm going to make him aware of it. Everybody's just calling it the tragedy in Las Vegas, but if you don't know, and I'm not going to say the guy's name because you know what? Screw that guy for trying to be famous for doing what he did. A guy was in the is it the Mandalay Hotel?
Yeah, Mandalay Bay
Resort, and there was a big country music festival. I think it's called Route 91 something. There was another name.
It's like Route 91 Festival or something.
Harvest
something of that
Festival.
nature.
Yeah, Route 91 Harvest Festival. Big, huge concert. It was over the weekend. And this guy, during the Jason Aldean concert, opened fire on people from a 32 stories up in Mandalay Bay Hotel. Obviously planned this whole thing out. And shot up lots of people. There's over 515 people that have been injured, and over 50, and the number could climb even higher. That
I think the last one I saw before we started the show was up to 56.
Yeah, of people that were killed by this guy. Automatic weapon, was just picking people off. Horrible.
Well, they said, he knocked out the window at the resort with a hammer or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. He had over 20 guns in his room, some semi-automatic, some fully automatic.
Yeah.
And he was just going through rounds. And by the time they got to the door, he had already committed suicide.
And yeah, every video that I've seen, which are just terrible, you know. We live in a world now where, you know, everybody records stuff on their phones. I mean, some of the stuff that I saw in these videos is just kind of like, and again, I'm not trying to glorify the videos. I'm just telling you, people have this stuff. The news is showing it. It definitely sounds like automatic weapons. It doesn't sound like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just rat-a-tat-tat nonstop. So it's pretty crazy. But, Bob, you probably didn't know this. Derek's brother, Brandon, was there Saturday night. So the night before. So when I found out Monday morning, I immediately texted Derek, who was in Nashville still Monday, and I said, dude, is your brother okay? And he said, yeah, he was there Saturday night. He's back. Do I need to look at the news? So Derek had not even found out at that point.
Wow.
So probably within about 15, 20 minutes after I sent a text to Derek when I woke up this Monday morning, I saw Brandon put something up on Facebook. Brandon Ray is his brother.
Yep.
And yeah, man, this is a big deal. This stuff is crazy.
And my wife had a coworker that was in the crowd. So
and were they okay?
Yeah, she was okay. It basically was just, I don't remember exactly what the Facebook post was this morning, but basically she was okay. They had to run. They were scared. I mean, pretty big deal. You know, I mean, that's I can't imagine. I've been shooting guns my whole life, so I know the sound. I know the everything that goes along with it. And, you know, I'm trying not to get emotional now, but I just cannot imagine what those individuals felt. And then now all the families got to deal with that as well. And this is something that's changing hundreds and thousands of people's lives. And it's sad. It's very sad.
It's really sad. This is not like a gun debate. We're not going to have a gun debate. I mean,
no.
But there's something, you know, I think part of the reason we wanted to talk about this is just we have a climate that we're living in right now where there's it just seems like there's a lot of hate and there's a lot of anger. We have no idea why this guy did this. And I don't really want to get into why he did. I really don't care at this point because they're people. And these are, just like you were saying, Bob, these are people's lives who are forever changed. And I don't really care why the guy did it at this point. I just care that we as a nation, we've got to figure out a way to come together. I mean, we talked about this when we did our 9/11 show. We've got some stuff going on in this country right now that is just things that I have not ever experienced in my lifetime.
Well, one thing I don't get is why does it take tragedy for us to come together? You know, I mean, look at Houston, look at Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, they had horrible hurricanes come through and just devastate so much of an area. But you had volunteers. We had volunteers from our church. A group of 10 or 12 people go down to Houston and rip drywall and insulation out of homes so they would dry out so people can rebuild. And it takes. Why does it take a tragedy for all of us to stop all the yelling and fighting about everything and just come together?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, it's taking a tragedy to do that.
Let me just say this, and this is not a political statement. This is just the truth. I mean, I would say if you're a person that watches the news a lot, you're probably a really depressed person. You're probably not happy with your life. You know, I know this will tick some people off and they'll say, well, you don't want to be uninformed. You can find ways to still be informed on stuff. The news, these things are so sensationalized by the media. The things that we experience in this country, most of the problems that we have between each other and the fights that we have, I really think, I don't want to believe that it's a sinister idea and a thought by media, but I want to be real here. The media has a way of pitting us against each other. It makes money for them. It gets advertisers. it makes their stations more popular with a certain segment of people. And I think that the media has a big part in what we're dealing with right now.
And that's the big difference between the media back probably before you and I were born, Scott. The media back in our parents' age, or even our grandparents' age, it was reporters not trying to make money. It was reporters. Yeah, sure, you had a few here and there. Of course, you're always going to have that. But it was reporters truly trying to find a story and make a name for themselves by getting the story out there and using their art of writing to get the story out there. And just as you said now, regardless of what news channel you watch, they're in it for the money. It's greed. And of course, if they can pin people against each other, whether it's political, whether it's whatever, and people start watching the drama unfold on their news channel, guess who's making money? They do. Mm-hmm. And guess who feels bad when they shut that TV off? We do. Mm-hmm. So it's a different world compared to when our grandparents and parents were growing up.
Yeah, the cable news, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week news stations, and that cycle, you know, what do you expect to happen when you're running a station 24 hours a day? And not only that, the technology that we have now just aids in this idea that, I mean, you get clips of stuff and you just play that over and over and over and over.
Yep.
I mean, I turned on the TV just for a few minutes this morning and went to both. I went to Fox News and I went to CNN, and I watched about 5 minutes of each of them, and I was just like, this is insanity, because all they do is play the same clip over and over and over, and they have people in that are brought in as guests to talk on these shows with the express idea of them giving you a very strong opinion about what's happening.
Yeah, but it's a very narrow point of view.
It's an opinion that's going to make you either go, yeah, I think like that guy thinks, or I don't like that guy at all.
And that's all they want. They want the listeners to go, that's a guy I agree with, or that's a guy I hate.
Yep.
And then, you know, that's exactly what they want. They don't care which side you choose, as long as that person.
They care which side we choose, but yes.
Maybe from the top, but right then and there, they don't care what side you choose, as long as you engage and you watch, and then you go talk about it so somebody else can wind up watching.
Yeah.
That's all they care about. They don't. To me, there's a lot of great reporters out there. There's a lot of people that do a lot of amazing things.
Let's not get crazy here, Bob.
No, there's
probably not very many good reporters. But go ahead, I'll let you continue.
Well, let's say on a smaller scale, there's probably a lot of good. So we're not lumping them all up into the same thing.
You're not going to, but yeah, go ahead. Just do your point. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember.
You're
what
trying
my
to
point
be
now
all.
is.
You're being nice. You're being nice.
I am, but it's one of those things where, you know, you got to step away from it from a period of time. Back to what you said at the beginning of this is just, if you don't watch the news and things like that, people will say you're uninformed. Well, I don't watch the news. Mm-hmm. I'm not uninformed. I read many opinions. I look at many things and form my own opinions based upon the facts that I see, not the opinions that I see, because I don't care about some other dude's opinion. It doesn't matter to me. But I look at the facts and draw my own conclusion on whatever the situation is. So I feel, since I stopped listening to news all night when I worked at nights and stopped listening to all these political shows and my stress level has gone way down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the only thing that keeps me involved in any of that is Facebook. And the only reason I have Facebook now is to promote this darn show. If this show wasn't here, I wouldn't even have a Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, I've made a concerted effort not to get too political on Facebook. I still put stuff up every once in a while, but
yeah.
But dude, compared to what it used to be, come on.
No, you'd post like 10 posts a day, all political stuff.
And I was just like, everybody was. But I literally was like, no one reads this.
But here's the thing: do you feel better that you're not so ingrained into it anymore?
Sometimes, yeah. I think this is one of the points I was going to make. Out of all this stuff, all the anger, all the hate that we have, and all the issues that we butt heads over, part of it is just like social media, man. I mean, everybody has instant gratification. They can put their their opinion out there so fast and get a response so quick. You know, if you're on Twitter or if you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram and you post something, people can instantly tell you, yeah, man, I'm with you. Or they can go, you suck, you're stupid, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And people like that. They like that attention and all of that stuff. Me, I don't post things very often, like on Facebook or whatever, but when I do, it's either something
just Scott comes and ruins it.
Crazy. Well, it's either crazy goofy.
Yeah.
It's of my kids, or once in a while it's going to be a statement that I felt like has been weighing on me for a while. But it's not all the time. I mean, I don't do that all the time. That's once in a great while after it's built up inside. I'm like, you know what? Time for me to say something.
Yeah.
And usually it goes well. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's okay.
Sometimes it sparks outrage, but yeah. All right, listen. I have an idea of what I want to talk about when we come back. So I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to tell you when we get back because I want to surprise you with it.
You want to surprise me or the listeners?
You.
No
you
teaser for them? Here, let me do it. I'm going to take off my headphones. You tease it to the listeners, and I swear to you, I will not listen.
Yes,
you tease it to the listeners, and then after the break, we'll talk about it.
Take your headphones off. So here's what I think we're going to do when Bob comes back. I'm laughing about it, but I would like to actually just talk about what do we do to change things? Where do we begin? What can we do to make this place that we live in called the United States of America a better place? So when we come back, and no offense to anybody in other countries, but I'm talking about my country right now because we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure you do too. We'll be back after this. Today's show is brought to you by Gamefly.com. Go to Gameflyoffer.com/HWT today. All right, so we have been talking about just kind of society in general, the stuff that's going on in our country. And we're somewhat serious, but we were giggling at the end there, and that's okay. Because we're just being real. We can't fake this. Can't get on here and try and be all somber and stuff. I mean, the stuff that happened in Vegas, all our sympathies go out to all those people. We talked about that.
For sure.
This is not a laughing matter. But you got to have a sense of humor. In the midst of tragedy, you have to be able to still find happiness and find hope. And, I don't know why I'm saying all this except for I don't want you guys to think that we're taking this lightly.
Not at all.
Not at all. So here's what I would like to do. We'll never be able to cover this whole idea right here, right now. But the stuff that we have seen and that we are going through and the division in our country and the things that are happening, what do we do, Bob? That's what I was going to ask is what kinds of things can we do to start to make a difference in this world? I mean, this is a huge topic. We're not going to cover it. We're not going to figure it all out. But I would like to talk about it a little bit. And who knows what comes out of this? I mean, I could ask you first if you want to think about it for a minute. That's fine. I can share with you some of the things that I have on my heart. And if you'd like that, that's what I'll do. Since you're not saying anything, I'll just do that right now, and then we'll come to you.
Well, I'm not saying anything because you just kept talking.
Right, I know.
You didn't like pause so I could speak.
I know.
But that is a huge issue.
Yeah. Maybe I'm doing that thing that Hillary did on an interview where she said she can breathe in one nostril and out the other.
I don't know. I will let you hit it, whatever your points are here, and then I'll kind of weigh in on that.
All right. So from my
not that anyone should care about our opinions because we just told them don't worry about our opinions.
No,
but
again,
you know
this is a discussion. This is not like I think here's the 5-point plan. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I think for me, as we talked about before, I was very active on Facebook, and I did post a lot of stuff. And I'm definitely somebody that's going to lean conservative, okay? I'm just going to tell you straight up. I'm probably more, and this is a cop-out for some people, but this is really true. I'm probably more libertarian in my beliefs overall, as far as I live and let live in a lot of ways for me. But I will definitely lean conservative on issues a lot of times. Anyway, And I would post a lot of that stuff on Facebook. And I would get into discussions with people, and they would probably consider them arguments, but I thought I was just passionately talking about the things that I believed. A lot of people did not feel that way, and I probably rubbed people the wrong way. So here's what I would say. I made a conscious decision, and I'll be real too. I prayed about this stuff, and I just said, listen, I don't want the rest of my life to be wasted arguing with people. I do have concerns about a lot of the stuff that's going on in our country, and I definitely have a point of view, but I don't need to constantly talk about it, is what I decided. And so I pulled back. There are things that I'll still talk about, but one of the other things that helped me was I said, I'm going to start, if I have a real issue with somebody and I know that person, I'm going to do my best to privately have a conversation with them and try to hear their point of view. Because when you're on Facebook or you're on Twitter or whatever social media you do, you don't see that person. And so it's so easy for us to just call people names and label them and say all these things. And I think because it's in a public forum, I really do believe that sometimes we don't want to be embarrassed. Like we don't know what we're talking about. So we dig in and we really hold tight to what we think is the right thing. Even if someone says something that might change our point of view, I think that we dig in because we don't want to look stupid. So what
or wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So what I've been trying to do is talk to people privately through like Messenger or something like that and hear what they have to say and not be like broadcasting it out onto the internet for everyone to see. And it's been good. I've had some good conversations with people. In fact, I had a conversation with 3 people that I know in my life that are people of color, and I have definite views. We were talking about the kneeling for the anthem stuff, and I wanted to know, because I've been accused of things for my belief on that. And so I just wanted to talk to them and say, hey, help me understand this better. And they gave me some stuff, and it made a difference. I'm not going to say that I'm fine with it, but I can also say that I understand these people's point of view, and I can respect them for their point of view. That's the other thing that we have to start understanding too. If you don't agree with somebody, that doesn't mean you have to be at battle with them. You don't have to be at war with everybody that doesn't agree with you. And that's what we do, again, because of the media influences that we have in this country. It's constant. And you got to pick a side. That's what they've made us believe, is you got to pick a side. And if you don't believe this, then you're this. If you believe that, then you're that. It's like constant barrage of people telling you, you've got to decide what you believe. And if people don't believe what you believe, they're idiots.
Well, look at the biggest topics, and this is really what's hurting the country right now, probably the most, and creating so much division is racism, illegal immigration, political differences.
I mean, you could just sum it up by saying that.
I mean, that right there, those 3 big issues are the biggest things we've heard over the last 3+ years, and in a big way.
More than that, dude.
No, it's been going on for a long time, yes, but over the last 3 to 4 years, it's been the worst than I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do we start with that? What's the right answer?
You gotta have relationships with people.
Well, and that's the thing. You've got to start understanding both points of view, and start really looking at it not just from your own personal opinion, but you have to look at people.
Yeah.
You have to look at country. You have to look at all kinds of different things to make those proper decisions. And you have to understand that regardless of political affiliation, whatever side of the fence you're on or right down the middle, the people that are in power all the way through and that have been in power for a long time, they all have an agenda and a different opinion. And they don't want to feel wrong, just like we spoke about. So that's where we get such a great divide is, yes, the media fuels everything in the worst kind of way so they can make their money while the rest of us sit back and, try to figure out, well, what is right? What is wrong? What do we do? And there's no easy answer to any of it. But the thing is, we have to make a step forward some way, somehow. I don't know what that answer is. And that's really for the people in power within this country to start talks and start moving it forward. It's up to us as individuals in our homes and our communities to start making a difference, to start reaching out, to start seeing other people's side of it. And if you don't want to do that, none of it's going to change. It's all going to stay the same, if not get worse. Yeah. To me, I understand a lot of the issues that are going on. I do understand why they're kneeling for the flag. I don't necessarily agree with it. Not because of their individual issues. I think they could do it a better way. But in the same thing with immigration, we do have. There is a big problem that we have to solve.
You're wading into it. You're doing it, Bob. Be careful.
No, I'm not. No. What I mean is not in a bad way.
I know.
I mean, there is a big problem that has to be fixed.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to get those talks going and try to figure out how to fix it, because from both sides. So there's people that feel nobody else should come here, and there's people that are like, hey, you're giving me the opportunity and then you're kicking me out. And there's just this big debate on all of it. But the thing is, all they're doing is yelling at each other. They're not sitting down and talking and trying to find real things.
If there's people that don't want anybody else to come here, that's completely un-American. That's not even American.
Right.
That's not a way of. That's not how America is. It's immigration. People came here to get a better life. The point that should be made is we have laws on the books for people to come here. There's a legal way to do it. And America is happy to bring people here that want to better themselves and be Americans, okay?
Right.
That's it. There should be no other discussion about it. And but again, I know there's people listening right now who completely disagree with me. But again, this is what I'm trying to say. That's my opinion, and we don't have to completely agree to be in a relationship.
If you actually sit down with Scott and I and you allow us to have a conversation, we actually disagree on a lot of stuff. When it comes to
that's because you're from Chicago, though.
No, but I have no influence from Chicago. I promise you that.
I'm just making fun of you. I'm just kidding.
So Scott and I, we actually, on a lot of political things, we don't see the same. I think with our faith, we see the same. But
Bob just likes to disagree with me all the time.
Well, see, no, it's just a difference of opinion. But you try to figure out that middle line to that middle ground and acceptance of your opinion and my opinion and work together. And that's, I think, the only way that this country's going to get any better is to another one of the issues is the LGBT community. Yeah. I mean, that's another big issue. But it's like, what am I personally going to do about it? Nothing. I'm not going to bash anybody. I'm just going to leave it be. They're living their lives and they're not interfering with me. If they want to marry, let them marry.
Man, because you went right in. Man, you're going deep, dude.
No, and here's why I say that. Because do you think men and women have figured it out? The divorce rate is higher for men and women getting divorced than anybody else. Divorce is
What are you talking about? You're just making stuff up now.
No.
It's not true. That thing has been, that's been disproven.
The divorce rate is very high in the United States.
It is.
But so it's like,
and less people are getting married now too. By the way,
well, I've heard about that
live
too.
Together now.
So it's like, but the thing is, it's like so much stuff that other people do are not going to affect you. Why do you have to get all worked up about it?
I have many thoughts on the things that you have said.
I don't, and he probably disagrees with me on all of it.
I don't completely disagree with you.
But
I already told you I'm more libertarian, so there's a lot of me that's just live and let live. But you also have to realize that there is, and this is true on both sides. No matter what anybody tells you, on the left and on the right, there are people who are hell bent on trying to make sure that you accept whatever they believe as truth.
Well, and they will push it because they don't want to be wrong.
Right. But will. I don't even think it's they don't want to be wrong. I think that they truly believe some of the garbage that they say, and they will force you to choose. And I say we tell those people on both sides to shut up. We're not going to choose. We're all going to be individuals. That's another thing that makes our country so great. We're all individuals. We're different. I don't want to be the same as everybody else. I don't want to be a cookie cutter person. Nope. I want to be me. Yep. I was made to be Scott, and that's who I am. And that's who I'm going to be. I'm not changing.
Derek, what do you think? Oh, wait.
Wouldn't that be funny? Oh, my gosh.
I had to break it up a little bit.
That was good. No, that's a good point.
That's
a good point to take a break. We're not going to figure this out. But it was a good discussion. I liked it. So, hey, we're going to come back. We'll kind of wrap things up. And we appreciate you guys letting us take this time today to just talk about some stuff because it's on everybody's mind. Let's be real. You can't hide from this week. We've just got some crazy things going on. So, all right, when we come back, we're going to wrap everything up, and hopefully we'll giggle a little bit more, and we'll talk to you in just a minute. Hey, everybody, it's Scott from Hey, We're Talking. You've heard us talk about Gamefly.com before. The basics are this. They've got over 8,000 titles for every gaming platform you can think of, and they're giving you a 30-day free trial. That's right, 30-day free trial for you, the listeners of Hey, We're Talking. You want to play video games? You want to be a champ at video games? Go to GameFlyOffer.com/HWT. That's GameFlyOffer.com/HWT for your 30-day free trial. Hey, we're back. Wow. What a show. I mean, that
was a lot.
Yeah. In the first 10 minutes there, we were having fun and just joking around and stuff, and then we just dropped the bomb on everybody. But we had to. We had to do it. We talk about it.
As you said, people are talking about it. People are thinking about it. Yeah. There's what do they say in offices? That's the water cooler talk.
Yeah.
You know, they do all that stuff. So it's like, why wouldn't we at least have a somewhat of a discussion about it?
And we're not, again, just so you guys know too, when we discussed this and we were like, should we talk about it or not? We don't want to become like a show that talks politics and gets into big debates and stuff like that. But sometimes it's going to happen. I mean, when Derek came down here and he was here visiting with his brother and their band, he stayed over our house one night and we had a talk, and we did not agree on some stuff. I mean, Derek and I don't agree on stuff too. So again, this is America, man. I mean, apologies to Australia, Mexico, all the people that listen to us all over the world.
Austria.
Yeah. Austria.
I was like,
Sweden,
who is that?
We got, I mean, it's crazy. But here's the thing. And we're not trying to be like, oh, America's the best. We think it is because we live here, okay?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're not broken as can be.
Yeah, dude, that's part of the thing that I've said, and I don't want to dive deep back into the flag thing again, but I do want to say this. I think that one of the things that we got to understand is there are racial injustices in this country. You can't live here and pretend that's not true. But one of the things that I will say about the flag and about the anthem, and again, I know there's plenty of people that can tell me I'm crazy about this, but the flag for me doesn't mean that America's perfect. The flag for me means it's the hope of what we can be. The United States of America. It's the idea that this country was founded upon. Now, you can say all the things you want about the people that founded this country and the things that they did wrong, but they messed up just like we mess up. None of us have it all together, but the idea behind America is great. The idea is wonderful. It's hopeful. it gives the opportunity for anybody that wants to become whatever they want to be. That's the difference. That's what's so great about this country. That's why people want to come live here. That's why people cross the border illegally, is because they want to live here.
Yeah.
Because this place is great. And don't let people tell you that it's not. It's flawed. We have problems. But this country is great, no matter what the politicians say. I'm just watching Bob's face, and he's like, "Where's he going with this?" That's pretty much it.
You should have just ended the show right there.
I could have
just been boom, done.
I could have
over with.
But I want people to understand that you gotta believe. I mean, get some hope again. Start to believe that there are good things about this country. Just like Bob said, the stuff that happened with these hurricanes, that should inspire you to believe that we are different.
And nobody cared about age, race,
nothing, sex, nothing,
income, sex, nothing. Everyone was just like, "Hey, we're here to help. You've had something go on. Let's help you."
Yeah.
They didn't care about any of that. And same thing happened with 9/11 too.
Yep.
But why does it take a tragedy to make us think that? We need to start thinking that individually every single day. What can I do to help somebody? What can I do to make a difference? And I'm not perfect with that at all.
Nope.
But I do try to go out of my way to help people out and to do the right thing, just to make somebody's day better.
Yep. When you wake up in the morning, and this is tough for me to do, so I know it'll be tough for everybody to do, but when your feet hit the floor, if you just say, "I'm going to try to do something nice today." If you just say that, I mean, as funny as it sounds, if you just tell yourself every day, "I'm going to try to do something nice today. I'm going to try and make somebody laugh today. I'm going to try and make somebody happy today," the whole world would change in the blink of an eye.
So the one thing I do every morning when I get up and my feet hit the ground, I look in the mirror and I go, "I'm good enough.
Exactly.
I'm smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like me."
Listen, as funny as that sketch is, there is some really good truth in that. Getting up in the morning and saying some things to yourself is not a bad thing. And I know there's some old timers that are going to tell me I'm an idiot, but I'm telling you right now, there's nothing wrong with starting your day out thinking good things and preparing.
That's true.
Because listen, as soon as you go out that door, something crappy is going to happen. Okay. It's life. You're going to have to go to work. There's crappy thing number one. Crappy thing number two is somebody's going to tick you off at work, probably on the way to work.
Yeah, people driving every day, every single day. That's my weak spot, driving.
Listen, man, I know that this is so cliche, but if people just started having an attitude of gratitude, start being thankful for your life.
True.
And it will change everything.